help your distributor find one as well, and that's part of introducing them to their upline so that they can find someone that they connect with. Expectations. Set them high. People will rise to expectations. If you set it down here, they'll rise to that. But what if they can really go up here? Don't limit your people's potential.
Can you use the example?
One of the examples that was used at convention, the guy goes and he talks to NFL football players. And there's always that one person that can jump like 3 feet high, right? And 4 feet, right? What am I saying? And he invites them to come up to the stage, and they hold a bar up that's 12 inches off the ground, and he says, "Can you jump over that?" And the guy says, "Of course I can. Why are you acting like this?" He said, "Well, then do it." And the guy jumps over it just enough to clear the bar. Why didn't you jump higher than that if you know that you can? Because you didn't ask me to. Is 99.9% of the answer. Like, of the time, that's the answer. Because you didn't ask me to. So ask them to. They will. If they fall a little short, it's okay. You can give them a pat on the back and tell them they'll do better next time. But if you don't ask them to, they never will. Take ownership of your business. This is part of having expectation. You need to make plans, you need to make goals, and you need to commit to that. You need to know the basics of the products and the comp plan and the company and you. Know what your why is. Know how you work best. Do you work best in the morning or at night? Do you work best face-to-face or on the phone? Know these questions. Ask your new distributor these questions so that you can help them to create this for themselves, to create stability. Accept no excuses, okay? Have adult conversation with your team. You are not their boss. You are not their manager, nor do you want to be. And nor do they want you to be. Most people that are coming into this business is because they don't want a boss anymore. Hello? Right? So don't be that for them. And speaking to that, don't chase people. Find the ones that want this. Otherwise you will be managing. Our job is to lead, not to manage. So be the person that inspires others to be their best self, and you'll have them doing all of this on their own. All of this is on the job training, the blueprinting, the goal setting, the scheduling, the inviting, the meetings, the presentations, the listening to the calls, the reading the books, having a mentor. All of it is just on the job training. And all of it, that is the work. That is your work. That's it. So, believe. That's last, but it's not least, and in fact, it might even be the most important. You need to see, feel, and taste the opportunity that LifeVantage is. And I know taste is a funny word to use, but when you were a kid and summertime hit, you could taste that ice cream cone, couldn't you, before you had it? This is that. Find those that want that change and run with those people. Find the people that say, now, you guys. And keep your integrity with yourself and with your business. Don't beg people. You don't need to. This is an opportunity to change our lives and the lives of our family and friends through health and wealth while working with people that also inspire change. So be the leader that empowers your team to be the leaders that they already are, and start now.
Yay! I don't have to listen to the rest of them, but it was amazing.
I know.
Everybody up, we're actually just going to dance it out.
The right people up here for that one.
Revealing the leaders around you. First of all, to me being a leader, to me that hits the biggest heart is just to be inspiring. And Kristen, you're blowing me out of the water right now. You're just like amazing, and you've got this, and I think every single one of us do. And I think by every one of us showing up, is showing that we are the leader that we can be. And I think that I get a little like maybe intimidated by this and whatnot, but basically for me it's just finding out who I am and what qualities I have and my strong points and using those for my leadership, you know. So basically there are 8 points,
8 characteristics of powerful leaders.
and they are be assertive. 2, be optimistic. 3, be visionary and decisive. 4, be a motivator.
Sorry. Read that back.
Sorry.
Be optimistic. What was it?
Be visionary and decisive.
Ooh, that's good.
Be a motivator. Where 3, like being a visionary and decisive, like that might not be my strongest leadership quality, but I think being optimistic or being a motivator is something that I can, you know, that is a big quality for me, so I would, you know, I can focus on that more for myself. 4 was be a motivator. 5, be a communicator. 6, be humble. 7, be fearless, have courage. This is another one of my weaker ones. And 8, be authentic. And like I said, each and every one of you guys, which one? Has all, you know, if not all of them, has something inside you. And I think that's pretty great. I think Kristen had touched on a couple of the points, but something that stood out to me in like Carrie Dickey's presentation was she's just ultra juicy and super fired up. So I respond to that. I think I have some energy like that. I really like that. Is getting into this and being a leader, but not being someone's boss. And nobody really wants to be told what to do, but actually walking alongside these people instead of, you know, being above these people. That's a big deal to me. Giving people recognition where recognition's deserved, even if it's a super small baby step. I think that's a big deal for some people, you know, and I think she hit on a good point with, and this is like not just in Life Vantage, this is for life, you know what I'm saying, going through your day and saying something really nice to somebody and making someone's day, because she had mentioned maybe that could have been the only thing she heard good for that whole entire day. We don't know where people are coming from, we don't know what's happened to them, and so I think it's important in life to big people up. Let's see, walking the walk, showing up when they really don't want to. That's a good one for me to work on that one for sure. Holding their space in life or in the room, and not just how you look, but how you're really putting off your energy for people. What else? Hit it on for me on that. Let's see. Hearing people, you know, listening, hearing where they're at, working with them, inviting them to whatever their uncomfortability is to maybe help them with that, but put them in that position to face that fear. That's a big one for me too. Having to do stuff that's really uncomfortable for me. But, take them. Sure.
Tell me whenever
Sure.
you want me to.
Add in, fill in the space.
So when I think about leadership, I really think about empowerment. What is it that helps somebody to feel that strength from inside themselves and know that it's there inside of them? It's not contingent upon me being there. And sometimes that process to empower someone doesn't always look linear. These steps are amazing, and referencing and reflecting on them and how each of these apply to you and what your skill set is, and what Mary's talking about, wow, that's a strength for me and I can work with that, and that one's a weakness for me, and maybe how do I cultivate more of an ability to dig a little deeper and look at how to build that up, right? Because if we're wanting to empower ourselves, that energy has to come from the inside out. And it's just like what Mary said, Carrie Dickey said, is that it's not about the aesthetics of anything, it's about the embodiment. How do we walk into a room? How do we show up and share ourselves in our words, our movements, our ability to acknowledge other people, and really see who we're working with, and see not only who they are for what we see in that moment, but also to see the wholeness of what they've come from, what their experience has been in their life. And you know, Kristen touched on a lot of things around what Carrie Dickey was talking about nobody wants a boss, nobody wants to do this to be told how to do something, but they want to find the way that they can succeed at doing this in the way that they're like, oh yeah, I'm so excited because I can do this. I can be a leader. And there's a man named John Maxwell, and I recommend all of you to go out and find, just Google his name and see his books. He's written quite a few on leadership. And one, Developing the Leaders Around You, is that the book that I told you about? I can't
Developing the leaders around you, developing the leader within.
Well, the book that I first read, I think, was Developing the Leaders Around You. He talks about these 4 different aspects of being a leader, and it was really powerful for me to read because there's you have to be able to, either you're positional, you're put in that position to be a leader, you're relational, you're about building relationships with people and helping them feel seen and supported, you're a producer, you go out and get results done, or you're the 4th level, and I can't think about what the name of it is, but you're that person who's reproducible. You're the one who's empowering other leaders to go through that spectrum and be all of those things. There's a quote that I wrote down from Carrie Dickey's presentation, is that 5% of leaders develop leaders. Most leaders are producers and not reproducers. And so really thinking about, the whole topic is revealing the leaders around you. How do we recognize leadership in other people? There was a couple of questions that I wrote down was, who do you lead? And I think that these are good things to think about in your everyday life. Like if you're a parent, how do you lead your children? If you're somebody who works in a job, how are you a leader in your job? How do people look to you? What do people look to you for? And that helps you identify what your strengths are and how you bring more of those strengths to the table. How do you lead? I think that that's something worth considering too. How are you a leader when you're given that opportunity to show up and be in that leadership position? And do you realize your influence? Positive or negative, do you realize your influence? Do you realize the sphere of how your energy extends into